To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silent, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace. Hello, I'm Joe Roberts, and this is the Mayfield Friday Time. I've been reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. All right, we are back again on our Mayfield Friday Time, and welcome you for this evening's broadcast. And it's good to be back with you again this evening. Our co-host is unable to be with us this evening, but in his place, we do have a guest that has joined us via media. I guess that's how you would say it. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you're going to see three ugly faces across the screen over there. Yeah, Brother Dan, I called you ugly. And we have Pastor Dan Curtis that is joining us online this evening, and will be with us throughout the throughout the broadcast. So we do welcome him aboard this evening. Well, a lot of things are still going on, aren't they? I tell you. You turn around 1 minute and something is one way, and then all of a sudden you turn around again and it's another way. So I want to explain what I meant in that in just a second, but I do want to invite you to join us in calling us if you would. Our number is 615-219-9926. Or you can contact us on Skype at IMBR. That is 615-219-9926 or IMBR on Skype. All right, Brother Dan, say hello. It's good to have you with us tonight.
Hello, it's good to have you with us tonight.
All right, we're going to be suffering a little time lag there by a few seconds. That's okay. Jamie and I were testing out the system this afternoon, and so, there is a time lag there. So when I say something, ask him a question or something, he's going to be hesitating for a minute. It's not because he doesn't know the answer or afraid to speak. It's just he's got to hear it first. So. So anyway,
I got to think before I talk, but this is live.
That too.
Yes, sir. That is you are right about that. All right, and sometimes we get our tongue tangled up and can't see what we're saying. So, okay, just me then. All right, I get a weird look from my producer here. Jamie is with us as our producer and our technician. And I'll be honest with you, this program could not go on like it does without him being at the controls. I'll tell you, I don't understand all of this completely. I mean, I understand enough to be dangerous, okay? But he is the one that keeps us going on this program. He's the technician, and we appreciate his talents very, very much. All right. Well, this evening, I do want to address something right quick. Like I wanted to bring to your attention this evening about the lawsuit that Texas is bringing before the Supreme Court. Texas and 17 other states have a lawsuit against Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Now, the Supreme Court has to approve in other words, they have to accept the suit before anything can be done. And my understanding was that they decided today, Friday, that whether or not that they would hear it. Now, just before we went on the air, not 5 minutes before we went live, I found out that the Supreme Court has rejected the lawsuit. They have rejected the lawsuit. We'll be seeing more details about that, I'm sure, in the coming days. That really shoots down President Trump's chances for everything going his way. Sad to say, this means that these other lawsuits that they have pending in these other states will probably get thrown out. I'm flabbergasted. You can't prove something if you can't get to court to do it. You understand me? You have to get to court in order to present your evidence of wrongdoing. And if you can't get to court to present your evidence, then it's as if nothing has happened. And that's what we're looking at here now. All I have to say is, folks, we better keep praying. You better have your praying togs on and keep our country before the Lord. You got a smile on your face there, Brother Dan. You got a comment?
I always say, we all make plans not collapse. It doesn't surprise me because they've already made up their minds what they want. But I don't know. I don't. The other day I was thinking about the election. I said, "What do you have to do for it to be against the law?" I don't understand. I guess what I can do is if I'm late for work, then that means I can run red lights, right?
I suppose so.
Because I might get fired if I don't, right? Makes sense. So I think I've got it figured out, Brother Joe. I'd love to share it with you, but we got a show to do.
Well, go on, brother. Go on. Share.
Well, it's always amazed me that in government, when we want to rationalize whether we enforce a law or not, when it comes to a law that's a law. So I've always thought, well, if you don't like the law, then change the law. I remember back when the freeway speed limit was 55? And now it's 90. I mean, I think.
Well, I don't know if it's 90,
but see, no matter what limits you try to put on man and what laws mankind will always try to stretch the limits of the law. But when our Supreme Court says, well, we know what the law is, but we're just not going to hear it. Nothing to see here. You know, like Barney Fife is saying, break it up, nothing to see here.
That's right.
I think we got to pray for the complete abolishment of stupidity.
You know, I suspect that's never going to happen until the Lord comes back.
No, it won't. It won't ever happen. Never happen.
I told Brother Joe.
Yes,
I
sir.
told my daughter one time. She said, "Dad, you're so smart." And I said, "I'm not that smart, honey. I was confused to be stupid."
That's the first part of being smart.
Yes,
So I might
sir.
be qualified to be a Supreme Court justice.
Oh man, you might. Was that Jeff Foxworthy? You might be a redneck if. Well, you might be able to be a Supreme Court justice if.
Well, you know, us pastors, we wear a dark suit behind the pulpit, but you know, it's a robe. You know.
Well, you know, if you're Episcopalian, you're wearing a robe, but if you're Baptist, you're just wearing a suit.
Yeah, yeah,
Or not.
yeah, or not. Yeah. Grace, brother. Grace and fashion too. Take full advantage of grace. That's right.
Let's move on here. You've heard us talk a lot about what these governors have done in these Democrat states and what they've done not just to churches in their states, but also to businesses. Well, as we know, California is one of the most prominent ones that has been on the headlines and at the front of all of this mess. And now, Gavin Newsom, he's facing a recall. And he's faced a recall before. However, this time, it takes, I think, almost 1.5 million valid signatures on the petition to initiate the recall. And already, and it's just been going on for a short time, already they've got almost half of what they need to initiate this recall to him. So
what's the recall for?
To get him out as governor.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, without a gift receipt.
That's totally different. I was thinking a recall of some of his rulings or something.
No. Let's get him out. That would be a good thing.
That's an amazing thing. Can we do that in Kentucky? Is that in Kentucky too?
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about Kentucky, but I tell you what, all he's done in California, the Californians are up in arms, and rightly so, with everything that's gone on there. So I wanted to bring that out. This is a sidelight. We've talked about that several times on this program. I'll turn this one over to you. You're the one that brought that to my attention.
So this afternoon, I got a ping from our cousin, and brought to my attention him and his wife. They like to send me things, and they're from Spokane, Washington. So they a lot of these things hit them pretty hard out there. But it's a direct threat to Christian education. LGBT activist groups call for Biden to target Christian schools. This was a article written by a gentleman by the name of Steve Warren of CBN News. And a prominent LGBT rights group is trying to persuade former Vice President Joe Biden and his presumptive administration to adopt guidelines that could lead to the closing of private Christian colleges and universities. Activists at the Human Rights Campaign have written a document titled Blueprint for Positive Change, which gives 85 pro-LGBT policy and legislative, I can't read, recommendations for a potential Biden administration to enact. One of the proposals in the document calls for the U.S. Department of Education to eliminate all exceptions for faith-based colleges and universities if they discriminate or not meet science-based curricula standards. And last month, Dr. Al Mohler, Jr., president of Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, warned about the HRC's document in a commentary which he called a direct threat to Christian education. The word discrimination, he advised, is the key to what could come next. The blueprint is not ambiguous. It makes detailed policy positions and recommendations department by department for the Biden administration to deploy once the president-elect assumes office. From the Department of Agriculture to the Department of Health and Human Services, the Human Rights Campaign demands the enactment of policies to prohibit what is identified as discrimination, Mueller wrote. He also notes that they are camouflaging sexual orientation and gender identity politics as science. I love the word science and how it's used anymore. Doesn't seem to match what I remember learning in school as science.
Absolutely.
The Human Rights Campaign is not known for any particular agenda on the creation-evolution front, nor is the group preoccupied with particle physics. The Human Rights Campaign is targeting issues of sexual orientation and gender identity, cloaking them in the language of science. This is an undisguised effort to require Christian colleges and schools to abandon biblical authority or lose accreditation, he explained. And sent me the link for that. But what would happen if the Biden administration targeted Christian schools' accreditation? If a college or school lost its accreditation, it would have to close. Simple as that. American conservative editor Rod Dreher cautioned in his own commentary published last month. That is the point. The HRC believes that if you do not accept its vision of sexuality, then you should have no place in public life. However, John Whitehead, president of the civil liberties law firm, the Rutherford Institute, told One News Now that religious schools have a right to teach what they want to. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or a Jew or whatever, he told the media outlet. If you establish a religious institution, you're protected by the First Amendment, and I think this would be a good First Amendment issue. On his campaign website, Joe Biden has promised to, and I quote, stand with the LGBTQ plus community to ensure America finally lives up to the promise on which it was founded, equality for all. He will provide the moral leadership to campaign equal rights for all LGBTQ plus people, fight to ensure our laws and institutions protect and enforce their rights, and advance LGBTQ plus equality globally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably not the worst that we will see happening.
No, for sure not. What do you think about that, Brother Dan?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the California thing, because you said they had to have 1.5 million signatures, right?
Yeah, just a little less than that, yes.
Okay. So I think what they need to do is go get the election officials in Georgia to come out there and count the 750,000. I think we're there, brother.
Are you saying that the Georgia election officials couldn't count? Is that what
I just think that, we're talking about college accreditation. I don't think it matters when it comes to things the Supreme Court will throw out anyway. So we call that fuzzy math. So I think we're already there in California. That's a done deal. So Newsom's probably already out. But
if he's not, he's sweating, right?
But
this one has gained.
But I think on the college accreditation, that has come up before. And I think it's time that, it's always been time. It's time that we have to stand strong on what we believe in. We do have First Amendment right. And I will say to people this, I'll say, listen, if I'll let you believe in aliens and unicorns, then you got to give me Jesus in the Bible, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So,
Amen.
we all have our own opinion, but they don't have to go to that college.
That's right. I think it's funny. Several years ago, I saw something on Facebook that said if you didn't like what was on my page, just keep scrolling, just scroll on. You have that right. You don't like it, just keep going. Just like this program, someone doesn't like what we say, they just go on to the next. They don't have to sit and listen. So if I don't like what your opinion is, I don't have to listen to your opinion, and vice versa. Nothing says we have to.
I don't like Broadway musicals. Or the Hallmark Channel, for that matter.
Well, yeah, Broadway musicals I'm okay with. A Hallmark Channel, yeah.
I was just looking here on our live status on the radio, and we've it's gone now. We had two people that were listening to us just as we were talking here from Columbia. I guess maybe they didn't like what we were talking about.
Either that or having a hard time staying online.
This LGBT thing is just getting started. Where it looks like now that Biden and Harris are truly going to be our next top officials, unfortunately. We are going to see more and more of the LGBT, whatever it is, all those alphabets, doing more and trying to get their way than ever before.
That's right.
Because they're going to have the tacit approval of the highest office in the land. And that's sad. Let's see. I had Norway. I go through the news usually on Fridays preparing for this broadcast and looking at things that would affect us as God's children and as importantly those of us who are American citizens, U.S. citizens. But don't discount things that are happening overseas.
That's right.
Because eventually it finds its way into our country. And this one is, it's going to get there. The headline reads, Norway expands transgender hate speech law to include private comments in one's own home. Norway's government has now barred its citizens from speaking against transgender people, even in their own homes.
So they start bugging their homes now?
That's what I'm wondering. Reuters reports Norway's parliament voted to expand its current law, first passed in 1981, to include both private and public remarks designated as hate speech against transgenders. Lawbreakers caught saying something in private about transgender people will get a fine or a year in jail. Others who say comments in the public arena can net up to 3 years in jail. Opponents of the expanded law argued that it could criminalize free speech for criticizing LGBT rights. There's a name there, an assistant professor of law. I wouldn't even be able to pronounce her name. At the University of Oslo, she was talking to the Reuters reporters. Norway has become a key outpost in LGBT activism in Europe. Since 2016, transgender people can legally change their gender without a medical diagnosis. Jonathan Turley, a law professor at George Washington University, says the right of free speech in Europe has been rolled back as governments move to criminalize speech and now have even become a core value of the Democratic Party in the U.S. He is right.
That's true. That's true. If you look at the Democratic Party, everything they stand for is you take things in Europe and then you somehow push the envelope even more, and that's what we're seeing in the U.S. It's like, that's not quite enough. We've got to take that and go beyond.
That's true. Yep. Yes. And Joe Biden already has called for speech controls and recently appointed a transition head for agency media issues that is one of the most pronounced and anti-free speech figures in the U.S. And I don't think that he names that individual, but I'm sure we'll be hearing about it before too awful long. And I asked the same question. How are they going to know that you said something in your own home unless they put a bug in your home?
Well, it goes back to what you had in Germany, what you had in Russia, what you have still in communist countries today, the secret police. By turning in someone in your home or turning in someone you know, you remove yourself from doubt. You turn in somebody and you become a good citizen.
It gains you points.
Right, it gains you points. So
social points.
If someone says something against you, but yeah, I turned in so and so who did something of that nature.
Well,
what does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? That brother will turn against brother. Siblings against siblings. Husband against wife, wife against husband.
Well,
maybe I'm taking that out of context, but principle applies.
Well, in the latter days, I believe. Am I not correct, Brother Dan?
I didn't catch all of that because I was my screen completely locked up. But I have. Have you ever heard the term "snitches get stitches"?
We have heard that term. We've talked about that term on this radio program too.
Yeah.
We're talking about brother against brother. We were doing that all our lives living at home. But
yeah, my sister and I, my sister and I got some lumps for snitching on each other growing up.
Yes, you did.
I don't think anybody's got to be trained to do that.
No.
Well,
I don't know the privacy of your own home. I think everything hinges on our. It's really difficult to mandate one thing that people can't have an opinion on, but then also give everyone else the ability under the same Constitution to have their opinions about anything else.
True.
It'd be like this. This is how we could. I like flip in the pancake. I mean, if I said if anybody is caught talking about anything in their house, it's really hard for anybody to uphold that before the law. So I think a lot of this couldn't be intimidation, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try it. But I don't know. I'm just going to talk about Jesus as much as I can, and they can throw me in jail if they want.
Well, they'll soon get around to doing that.
That'll soon be on the list.
Oh, my middle name is Paul, so I'll at least experience what it's like to be in God's will.
Well, honestly, it's not very far off because, I'll give you an example, right now, the Democratic governor of Oregon is encouraging all of her citizens to snitch on their neighbors if they see
Right.
their neighbors not conforming to the COVID-19 directions. So, it's the thought is already there.
This is not going to happen overnight. Nothing can
No.
happen overnight.
No.
It's little by little, and when it's okay to, tell on your neighbor because you saw them walk to their mailbox without their mask on or what have you, flip out your cell phone and I just showed my age there. Pull out your cell phone and take a picture of your neighbor walking to their mailbox without a mask on, call the cops, and they get arrested for not wearing a mask to the mailbox, right? I mean, what's next? You hear them telling someone about Jesus. And
Well, that goes along with the next article that I pulled up, and that is speaking out against sexual immorality will get you fired from your job. That happened in the UK. This gal was an actress on a popular show and a theater production, and she wrote on a Facebook post that she did not believe that homosexuality is right and that people were not born gay. Well, she got fired from her job because of that. And in 2021, there's a tribunal that's supposed to hear her case to determine if this was an act of religious discrimination. So
against her or her against?
It doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Yeah, it just says a tribunal will hear her case in February of 2021 to determine if this was an act of religious discrimination. I would think it would be against her, but she lost her job because that she spoke out against LGBT. Then there was this one, bringing it back a little closer to home. A former U.S. Air Force chaplain who believes the only reason for his dismissal from the military was his sermon on biblical sexual ethics says believers need to fight back, including in the court. He was punished for preaching a sermon and at the Lackland Air Force Base. So that's the basic training base for the Air Force. Been there, we've done that. And it included the sermon that he preached in 2013 to the new recruits, the basic trainees. It included scriptures about sexual immorality. And he tried to point out that the hypocrisy of being critical of homosexuality when there are heterosexuals committing sexual immorality also. And he said, and I quote, "The message was about sin that we don't think is bad. If you're having sex with somebody that you're not married to, then you need to stop," I said. You know, sometimes the Christian church has gotten the reputation for being prejudiced because we look at one sin, homosexuality, and then we turn a blind eye and don't say anything about heterosexual sin, and that's hypocritical. Well, there was a lesbian trainee who filed a complaint about that, and the result was that he had almost 30 years of service and 20 of those on active duty, and he could not retire. He was fired. He could not retire from the Air Force with benefits. And he said that's a net loss of more than $1 million in pension and health benefits. So it's close to home. Well, here's another one that's even closer to us. Other notable cases involve a Kroger grocery store in Conway, Arkansas, firing 2 employees who refused to wear a rainbow-colored heart emblem on their work apron. And then likewise, a Christian woman in New Jersey who has been a barista for 5 years with Starbucks was fired for refusing to wear a pro-LGBTQ t-shirt. In Poland, the world's largest furniture manufacturer, that was news to me, I didn't know that, IKEA, fired a worker who refused to participate in a pro-LGBT event and posted Bible verses about homosexuality on social media account. His first name is Felix, and I wouldn't even try to embarrass myself trying to pronounce his last name. Felix was dismissed, this is another one, was dismissed as a student from Sheffield University in the UK for posting comments on social media critical of homosexuality, demonstrating that students who speak out are also at risk of losing their career before it ever starts. The sports world has many well-known Christians, but in Australia, rugby star Israel Folau, I don't know, I'm terrible at pronouncing foreign names, was fired after posting biblical verses considered offensive to homosexuals on social media and refusing to take them down. Good for him. He subsequently had his multi-million-dollar contract with Ruby, Australia, terminated. And this article closes with these are just some of the cases from around the world in recent years, and a Biden presidency promising to be the most LGBTQ plus affirming in history. More will follow. And that's for certain.
Well, we're about the halfway point in our broadcast, and I wanted to make note of who Brother Dan is and bring to some of our viewers' attention. Brother Dan is the pastor of Community Baptist Church in Ashland City, Tennessee, a little place. And I hear, I see someone else in the camera there, Brother Dan. Who is that in the camera there?
Come on, lean in.
All right,
I
y'all
just hear my earbud.
This is Beth Curtis, Brother Dan's daughter, and
Yep,
co-writer.
my favorite daughter.
Your favorite daughter?
She better be. You're the only one, right?
Yes.
Don't you love it, Beth, when he says, "Oh, it's my favorite daughter"?
Oh, yeah.
Dad,
My favorite.
come on.
Hey.
And want to make note, Brother Dan and Sister Beth are singer-songwriters, award-winning singer-songwriters here in the state of Tennessee for some wonderful music. And Brother Dan sent me some of his new music, and I apologize, Brother Dan. I may have some small technical capabilities, but not quite good enough to get them on the air for tonight. So I do apologize.
You're not going to play the songs tonight? I thought you were going to put them on there.
I was trying.
We'll just have to sing it. We'll just have to sing it ourselves, I guess.
Hey, that would be all right.
That'd be all right. That'd be all right. Go grab the guitar. Come on now.
Just as a note, I wasn't neglecting. I was saving some time for them to do this very thing. And so before you do that, I tell you what, with I don't know whether you can get your camera turned whether we can see everything or not, but will you see Jamie and I turning away and looking off at something? We're monitoring YouTube and Facebook as we broadcast live on on the programs, just to see how it's coming through to make sure everything is going okay. I don't know where you can get your camera turned or not, and get your guitars and
Good.
set up and play for us. maybe Beth can get your guitar and what have you. And Brother Dan, you tell us a little bit about the Dan Curtis music and bring us up to date a
Well,
little bit.
well, it's kind of interesting how it happened. I was made to sing when I was young, but I mean, I've been singing for a long time. My brothers and I sang and performed as Christian artists for a long time. About a year and a half, I got introduced to a couple songwriters here in town who took us in. And really, long story short, just got back to writing again. And this year, I think I've recorded 17 songs, I think, that we've all written, and we've got been blessed. I don't know. So I think God just kind of opened up another facet of ministry for us, and it's an amazing journey. I don't know where God takes it, but we'll do a song, Heart Wide Open, we can do for you. And I'll get my guitar and. You got time for this? She's dressed up because she's going out tonight. You remember how it was, Jamie, when you were single on Friday?
Yeah, barely. It's been a long time, but yes. Vaguely remember that.
Well, he's
trying to find a pic.
While he's getting ready there, let me say that the one of the albums that he has already recorded, he has given to us, and we have it plugged into our radio station, and so your songs are literally capable of going out in around the world, brother, anywhere that anybody can pick up this broadcast. So.
That's awesome.
You're not quite famous yet, but
I'm famous in the kingdom, baby. I'm famous in the kingdom.
Amen.
Hey, Mom and Daddy are going to hold me accountable. Can you hear the guitar? Everything okay?
Yes, sir.
I spent most of my life running away from you. I've been thousands of miles opposite way of you, but I knew you always cared. Knew you were always there, arms wide open, wide open. So here I am, Lord, for you, eyes wide open. Here I am, Lord, all yours, arms wide open. I've got one life to live, so much to give. I give it all to you, heart wide open, wide open. You know I'll never forget all you have done for me. From all of myself, you have set me free. And you taught me how to give. You show me how to live. Heart wide open. Heart wide open. So here I am, Lord, for you. Eyes wide open. Here I am, Lord, all yours, arms wide open. I've got one life to live, so much to give. I give it all to you, heart wide open, heart wide open. All of me, all for you. All of me, all for you. I give all of me, all for you. I'm giving all of me, all for you. So here I am, Lord, for you. Eyes wide open. Here I am, Lord, all yours. Arms wide open. I've got one life to live, so much to give. I give it all to you. Heart wide open, heart wide open, heart wide open, heart wide open. Woohoo! Oh, Jamie singing along on that one. Hey.
I muted my mic so y'all didn't hear me destroying it.
Uh,
Oh, no.
no, brother, that song's special. We wrote that song for a dear friend, and one of our church members, he had spent most of his life running away from the Lord. He was a bus driver, and so when I wrote that song, it's I spent most of my life running away from you. I've been thousands of miles from the opposite way you have come in his life. So we dedicated that to my brother Rod. That was special song, man. Special song.
Go ahead.
Um,
I went to say something. Yeah, I looked over and saw he was about to say so. Go ahead.
well, I don't know if I'm talking too much ahead, you shut me up, okay? But there's a project that you're considering. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's gonna. We were gonna release it this month, but I think I'm gonna wait. It's gonna be a fresh release in January, I bet. And the first album we did, and if you know me, Jamie knows me a little bit. I'm just my dad. My dad was a nut. His real name was Paul. Okay, so it didn't fall far from the tree. The first album was entitled "Nope, Still Don't Care." And I wrote a song about what I thought of the devil. But this second project is entitled "I Kidnapped Jesus."
And that was one of the songs
Right?
that you gave,
Yeah,
you sent me, and that I couldn't get
Yep.
to work right to play tonight. And
yeah, the song is, I really try to find ways to talk about difficult topics with music. And the song "I Kidnapped Jesus" is about how Christians are guilty of not sharing their testimony. And let me see if I can play a little bit of it. You want to hear a little bit of it? Sneak peek?
Absolutely.
I remember. Let's see how's it go. No. I can still remember Sunday morning that preacher preaching up the storm, and I felt the Spirit touch my heart. And I stepped out, all in faith, and I ran down fell on my face, and that's the day my life had a brand new start. Yeah, he came into my life, covered all my sins, I'll never let it go. Bridge to the end, yeah, my life was radically changed when I met Jesus. Now that I found Jesus, here we go. I want to tell my friends how he saved my soul, but I just didn't know where to begin. I kept him to myself, didn't say a word. They probably already heard, so I just left him deeper than. Yeah, he came into my life, covered all my sins, I'll never let it go. Risen to the end, and my life's been radically changed. I met Jesus. Well, I knew he lived somewhere in my heart, but I just didn't care to do my part out of sight, out of mind. All the time, locked up inside where nobody could see my prison yard. I just and if my friends never met, that's no problem of mine. So I hid him from my family, so I telling my friends he'll take him everywhere. Back again, and my life been totally changed. I kidnapped Jesus. I don't know where Jesus went. It's like he gave me. Back again, and my life been falling apart. I kidnapped Jesus. Don't ask me how to find him now. Lost the keys, can't let him out. I forgot how to share his love. Kidnapped Jesus. I misplaced Jesus like losing my keys. I don't know where I left him. Can you help me, please? Then my life's been falling apart. Kidnapped Jesus. And if you have the Lord, please let him out. Go tell your friends what he's all about. Don't waste your life kidnapping Jesus. You know Jesus covered all your sins. Don't be ashamed of Jesus within. Don't waste your life kidnapping Jesus. Don't be kidnapping Jesus.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sorry I was unable to actually play it on the radio before.
Well, we got
But that album through the drop that and I think I told Jimmy we've already got 7 songs on the third album. We're just excited.
well. Is there another project that you have in the back of your mind that I'm trying to bring to the front?
As far as a song,
No.
well,
I
I've
think
got a
he's
lot of
ref-
projects.
I
Sleep
think
much,
he's
first of all, because people waste the time. But now we're on the cusp, trying to start putting together our own radio. Be a prayer for that, and I just believe there's a whole new world. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring the word. We're going to bring a lot of fun. I know bringing some comedy into it and some fresh music. Showcase Christian artists up and coming. Because so many artists, especially Christian artists, they don't have a place for the music to be heard. So Beth and I were talking today about really start looking in artist development, helping Christian artists and teach them how to write a song, how to record, how to develop a ministry, a web page. And Beth graduated from Lipscomb with a marketing degree. So we've got kind of a one-stop shop to further the cause of Christ in music. So I think that's where God's moving right now, and also pastoring the church, the community, and we're going to try to have fun. We're going to spread the word, and we're going to show this world, man, that if you're not a Christian, you don't know what's on it.
That's right. I think he's referring to the YouTube channel you were talking to me about, and it was I think that's where he was trying to hint around that. You were talking about doing a program on YouTube.
Yep. Yep.
And all I got to say is I will be happy for the comedy part. I'll be happy to come and partake, especially
Yes,
if you have the hot sauces. I will do.
We're going to do it. First show's going to be Can the Preacher Take Me?
Yeah, I got another preacher who likes hot sauce too, and I think we could get him involved. And I know a few more who might be willing to do that.
People like watching other people in pain, So we'll accommodate them. They'll listen to Jesus. So
Just don't expect
listen
me
to the
to talk
gospel
a whole
painful
lot
sometimes.
after the first couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had I think we had discussed a little bit about some music videos, and
Yep.
we do have the technology, brother, to do that. And
Wow.
my question to you is, do you know how to do it?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Here's the thing I learned when I was in my 30s and I decided to start taking piano lessons. And everyone told me I was crazy because I was too old. And I said, if there are drunks in bars playing, I bet I can figure it out. So, and I was right. And so we actually have gotten a camera, and so we've been playing around with the camera in 4K, and so we will be doing videos very soon. Google anything, Jamie, and it's all correct. Everything on Google is correct.
Okay, all right.
Right. Yeah, just ask they. Yeah, you know what they say.
Yes. Whatever is they say.
So we plan on actually doing the album release. We're going to do some videos with it, and they'll be on. We're going to get a YouTube channel set up to showcase the music. So be prepared for that. I mean, like we've got a gospel message, kind of platform music, and so be prepared for that. God will, it'll go viral. How about that?
That's right. And whenever you guys get ready, we'll sit down. We'll get you guys on the radio. You can start doing your show on the radio too, not just on video. We'll get you on the radio.
Right.
I tell you what, you better be careful, Jamie. I might quit preaching.
Nah.
No, never.
That won't happen.
we had talked about developing and starting a TV channel. Then after I talked about that and I thought about it and I prayed about it, I said, "Why do that? We're already doing that." And
this is the TV.
That's right. This is TV. It's as good. It's as good as we want to be.
Well, we are winding down to our last minute or so of the program. We just had a listener from Egypt on for a couple of minutes, and I can see on a world map here that I have that our our radio provider it gives us, and when someone is online and listening to us, that country shows up, and so one from Egypt was just on. But anyway, that's sort of on the sideline. Brother Dan, it's been very good having you with us this evening, and I'm glad that Jamie got all this technology worked out and we got you on the air. And let's be in prayer for our country and our churches and our brothers and sisters in Christ. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we do know that God is still in control.
Amen.
And we just need to keep serving Him even more than we have been. And so before we sign off, Brother Dan, I would like for you, if you would, and don't mind, to lead us in a word of prayer.
Hey, I'll be glad to. Lord, we thank you so much for this time. We thank you for technology. We thank you for the wisdom that God's people answer the call to ministry that explore all facets and all mechanisms of technology. Because we live in a world and have for many years where the devil will use anything to advance his message, his narrative. We thank you for this technology, and just as the devil can use it, we can use it to help us to be bold, help us to stay strong, that our actions will speak loud, because that's what this world needs to hear. Many people have grown up hearing Christian talk, but not saying walk the walk. And we thank you for those, our brothers tonight, that are doing this show and proclaiming the gospel and the truth. And we know we are not the authors of this book. That God inspired every word that's in our mouth, and it's ours to share His word, not ours. So help us to have wisdom enough to speak what the Lord says. Show the scriptures as they are, and keep the gospel simple. You know, each and every one of us come into this world, and everyone will take their last breath. The Lord tarries. But in Jesus, we are ready. We are ready to be revealed in that last day. So thank you for salvation. We thank you for grace. And the honor is to serve you as humble vessels. In Christ's name, we're thankful. Praise you. Amen.
Amen. Well, we invite
Brothers,
you back with us again next time, all of our listeners and viewers. We've had Brother Dan Curtis, pastor of the Community Baptist Church in Ashland City, Tennessee, with us tonight via the media. And if he faded in and out, that's not our fault. That's the internet. But anyway, it was good to have you on, brother. And thanks for you and Beth and singing for us and telling us a little bit more about your ministry. And we certainly will be praying for you and the folks there. We invite our visitors and everyone, we invite you back next week at the same time. I'm Joe Roberts.
I'm Jamie Roberts.
And Brother Dan Curtis is on with us, and it's good to have him. So we say...
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. And we say good night.